This whole Bitcoin and Jeffrey Epstein thing kind of got me thinking about my original thesis that I came up with 5 years ago about what's going to happen to Bitcoin. And we see something happen every single cycle. And we know that there's going to be a select few of coins that are chosen. They're already chosen for this new financial system. And each cycle we have an event that causes one of the fakes to get knocked off. Last cycle we had the Sam Bankman-Fried and Terra Luna collapse. Terra Luna at one point was considered one of the stable coins that could be used in the future. But we all know what happened with it. It was an algorithmic flaw that it had. And also Sam Bankman-Fried was also considered the scapegoat, so a lot of other people weren't caught up in all of the mess that it caused. And when you get right down to it, it was a point of Terra Luna not being one of the chosen coins, and they have to have a scapegoat for all of this. Well, I think the same thing is going to happen with Bitcoin, because the writing is on the wall. Like, they are literally showing you what happened with Sam Bankman-Fried and Terra Luna. Michael Saylor, in my opinion, is going to be the scapegoat for Bitcoin, because Michael Saylor has over-collateralized Bitcoin through his Microstrategy company and its holdings beyond belief. And it's going to screw over a lot of people. But guess what? The government and the elites don't care about this. And who knows if Michael Saylor will even go to jail over this like Sam Bankman-Fried did, because Michael Saylor, if I believe correctly, is in a completely other country that is not even in the jurisdiction of the United States. And crypto still is not regulated. So a couple of the things that I want to point out currently, and then I'll get into like what I think is going to happen with MicroStrategy, is currently we have MicroStrategy likely to be delisted from the NASDAQ 100. That's one thing. The other thing is, I think it could be a catalyst to cause Bitcoin to start dropping, is the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. And I have a theory as well about how the current financial system of the world, all of the money, the debt, all of this stuff has been damned, because literally damned and also spiritually damned, because when you block energy from flowing, when somebody is controlling it, that energy becomes damned. It's also been damned because the Federal Reserve acts as a reservoir. It's like a dam. It blocks the flow of money and can print as much money as they want, all of this stuff. So what I think is going to happen is they're going to try and get all of the corrupt money, all of this stuff out of the financial system before they implement the new financial system. So a couple of the things that I think is going to cause the initial collapse of Bitcoin, and I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible, is the surefire news that Bitcoin was linked to Jeffrey Epstein. And I believe this will cause the initial crash of Bitcoin, kind of like what we're seeing right now. And this could happen like a year into the future, or it could happen right now. And then everything will start to flow into XRP like is planned. But we all know that MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor have over-leveraged Bitcoin positions. And what this basically means is that MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor's company, have gotten loans for Bitcoin as it's gone up in price. So what that kind of looks like is, for example, when they bought at $50,000, they got a loan for, I think it was like $250 million, something like that, $205 million. But they have to put up their own Bitcoin as collateral. So they get the loan, but they have to use some of their actual Bitcoin that they already hold as collateral. Well, what happens when so they buy at this certain price? Well, what happens when the price starts to drop is that they have to maintain a certain loan to value ratio, which means if the price drops, they have to put up more Bitcoin to raise the ratio of the loan, basically. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's kind of like financial talk. So what will happen is if they can't put up more Bitcoin to raise the loan to value ratio, they become liquidated. And this is the whole problem with Microstrategy's strategy, is that they are banking on Bitcoin continuously going up, and they are not considering the fact that Bitcoin could drop down to like $20,000 again. They don't have enough Bitcoin to keep these loan to value ratios without getting liquidated. This is a huge problem, and I think this is an actual risk that can happen. And I believe that Microstrategy and Michael Saylor will be the scapegoat for Bitcoin's collapse. So a couple of more things that I want to talk about real quick before the video gets to 10 minutes is that this whole collapse is going to be like a chain collapse, because it's like an interconnected web of liquidity. And if you've seen my videos before, you know how important liquidity is in finance. And this is not only going to be about MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor, because as he starts to get pressure, he's going to have to start liquidating his assets if he doesn't want to have his whole position liquidated. And what this is going to do is force miners. And if you know anything about Bitcoin, the Bitcoins are mined using these machines. They're called miners. And the profitability of these miners is directly linked to how high or how low the price is. So if these miners are mining Bitcoin and have kind of hodled these coins without like continuously selling them to make a profit, they're basically holding all of these coins. And if they start to see the price coming down, they're going to want to sell all of these coins, and it's going to be a chain effect. So this is a huge problem, guys. And also one last thing that I want to mention, and please, if you have anything that you can write in the comments that you could add, please do that. But the last thing that I want to add is that Bitcoin has CME gaps open at 9,000, 11,000, and 20,000. And basically what a CME gap is when you have a weekend or a holiday and the price of Bitcoin closes somewhere, and it either opens higher or lower after that weekend or a holiday, because the traditional markets are not open on weekends or holidays, but crypto is always online. It's 24/7. And we always know that the CME gaps eventually get filled eventually. But this is a huge problem, because MicroStrategy would begin being margin called and be forced into liquidation around like 50,000, 34,000. Then the miners would start to capitulate at around 15,000 because they no longer be profitable if they can't sell. And then you have the 20,000 CME gap, you have the 11,000, 9,000. So all of this would be a chain effect, guys. Like this is big news.